Last week, the Detroit Lions suffered a devastating loss at Ford Field to the Minnesota Vikings, and statistically, it was their worst offensive performance in years. Now this week, Detroit headed to Washington for a rematch against the Commanders, reminding us of the 1-seed choke in the playoffs last season. And sadly, it was a tainted rematch because Jaden Daniels is out due to injury. But this game was still electric for so many reasons, especially because Dan Campbell took over play calling duties and made the Lions offense look like the best in the NFL.
What was the mindset behind changing things up, man? Where you calling the plays there?
Yeah, it was just, let's try something a little different. I know what I want to do. I know how I want to do it. Now, that being said, this is a collaborative effort now. I mean, I was taking input from John Morton that whole time and the other coaches. Hey, man, what do you think here? Third down. All right, we get into this, 3rd and 7 plus. But I just wanted to change it up a little bit. Maybe a different play caller can maybe get us a little rhythm. And it honestly is nothing more than that.
At the end, Campbell says it wasn't that big a deal, and I partially believe him, but at the same time, it's never a good look when your offensive coordinator gets benched. And hopefully it was a great learning lesson for John Morton, because even though the Commanders' defense is bad, this is still impressive. Last week against the Vikings, we saw Jahmyr Gibbs in the backfield getting lit up by Brian Flores' heavy pass rush. And you see Campbell's influence on the 3rd play of the game. The bigger back Montgomery helps the block, and the more elusive back Gibbs gets the ball in space. Then they're taking shots down the field to their best wide receiver. What a great idea. Last week, it took them to the last offensive play of the game to take a shot downfield. And it also can be predictable, throwing one deep ball once per game only to J-Mo. And we also didn't know about the play calling switch till after the game. So it was interesting to see John Morton just sitting there twiddling his thumbs. Then every time Dan Campbell is on camera, he's wearing glasses and is talking to someone looking at a play sheet. Then to cap off the Lions' first drive, Goff fires to Gibbs over the middle for the score. Few things from this play. 1, Gibbs, I love you. You're the best running back in the NFL. 2, this play is a cheat code. That's the 5th time they've run this play. First time this season. I'd love to know where they got it from. I'm curious what the name of the play is. But it's just too good. Gibbs out of the backfield, and then no linebacker can stay with this man in coverage. Gibbs is just too quick. And now every team Detroit plays, those linebackers in the red zone are thinking about this play. No doubt about it. And not only can no linebacker keep up with Gibbs, but this was Jordan Mage's 4th NFL start of his career. Dan Campbell was ready for this. I bet you Campbell knew it was a touchdown when he called the play. Side note from another thing from this game, Bates had to make another tackle. He made multiple last week. Not loving it. There's a chance for injury, and the Detroit special team needs to pick it up. Lions' second drive of the game. Just look at how much space Trey Amos is giving St. Brown in this play. When Detroit's offense plays smart, they're unstoppable. And Campbell really put a lot on tape for opponents to keep up with. We got a Laporta rollout right after for a huge gain. And Detroit's offense all game long did a great job at finding the soft spots within the zone. And on 3rd and 7, Goff in shotgun fires over the middle to find St. Brown, who extends into the end zone for the Lions' 2nd touchdown of the day. Then up 14-3 in the red zone, Javon Kinlaw would jump off sides and get into Goff's face.
Kinlaw in the face of Goff.
Goff was later asked what was said between them. Didn't really answer, but Jonathan Vilma's commentary on the situation was pretty funny.
Yeah, he was not. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what he was really saying. He jumped off sides. I told him he jumped off sides. He said, I know, and I don't know why he was so excited about jumping off sides, but he was.
It makes no sense to me. You've literally done nothing.
Javon Kinlaw signed a 3-year, $45 million deal with the Commanders this season, with $30 million guaranteed. He has yet to record a sack through his 10 starts this season and has 3 TFLs. Anyway, this Detroit Lions offensive drive got into the red zone thanks to, of course, Jahmyr Gibbs, who had a huge 28-yard run to the left, which contributed to his 172 total yards on the day with 3 touchdowns. Then, after the false start from the 13-yard line, Gibbs would get the handoff, shake off Frankie Louvu in the backfield. He would then outrun 31 Jonathan Jones, 58 Jordan Mage, and 39 Jeremy Reeves going to the right. 2 of the 3 would fall as Gibbs would move up the right side and make 20 Quan Martin hit the deck, make contact with 23 Trey Amos, and then Laporta would push the pile into the end zone. Returning the favor, as last week, he was the ball carrier in the pile that got pushed into the end zone. This would extend the Detroit Lions lead to 20-3 with just under 10 minutes to go in the second quarter. But after the touchdown, there'd be some confusion. Raymond would be seen putting his arm on Brown to calm him down. And afterwards, the viewer can see that Darren Payne punches St. Brown in the side of the helmet. Now I wonder, does this even hurt for St. Brown? Does this hurt Payne's hand more than it hurts St. Brown in the head? Because he hits full helmet. But I mean, it must have hurt St. Brown a little bit because that's a big guy and he put all his weight and force into that punch. The real question is, whose punch was better, Payne's or Branch's? Swear, no bias, I'm going to go with Branch's just because Juju hit the deck. After Payne's punch onto St. Brown, Kinlaw would get back into the action. You see Goff in conversation with someone. Kinlaw would be pushed away by the ref after talking to him, and then Kinlaw would hit the ref in the head and would be flagged. It looked like he was mad about something. He'd continue to keep talking to the ref. Kinlaw and Payne would both be ejected from the game during this sequence, which is absolutely insane. We would later find out that Kinlaw was pleading Payne's case. He was saying that St. Brown hit Payne first. Why wasn't St. Brown flagged as well or first? Which is true. Payne would later post a video on his story of St. Brown getting pushed out of the way by Payne, then hitting his face, then punching him right in front of the ref. Pretty blatant and kind of insane that no flag was thrown whatsoever. And also foul that Payne ended up with a 1-game suspension and will miss the Commanders game against the Miami Dolphins next week. He appealed the suspension, but it was upheld. Insane that St. Brown unpenalized Payne full suspension. Skip a few minutes later, Chris Rodriguez would punch in the touchdown from the 1-yard line, and then in celebration, throw the ball as hard as he can right at a camera lady, ducking for her life. I mean, I know I would be hype as well if I didn't play much in the NFL, but your team is also getting destroyed. Jake Bates would then extend the lead to 15 before halftime, and another skirmish would break out. This one, not much going on. Quan Martin called for unnecessary roughness, just some pushing and shoving. I love Jacob Martin after the play, though, getting to the iPad, getting back to work because this team is getting destroyed on defense. And if this game couldn't get any crazier, Trump would be seen in the press box. If you get political in my comment section, I'll ban you. Another thing I love that Dan Campbell did during this game is he got Jameson Williams the ball. 7 targets for 6 catches and 119 yards and a touchdown. He's so good, and I still think he's underrated in the league. There's so much talent within the skill positions on the Lions offense. I think JMO just still gets overlooked sometimes. People calling him a track star with pads or decoy. It's just not true. Going to 12 minutes left in the third quarter, Lions up by 15. Dan Campbell, viral clip came out of him punching the play sheet after making a call. On the very next play, Goff would find Williams over the middle, which would lead him to flip into the end zone. The world saw it as Campbell, knowing it was going to be a touchdown as he made the call and was getting fired up about it. However, St. Brown explained on his podcast that Campbell was frustrated he didn't get the full playoff because you can't talk to the quarterback when there's under 15 seconds left on the play clock. He then went on to talk about how smart Goff is, that he doesn't wear a wristband with the plays and can figure out what the call is only if he hears half of the play. So it's just another reason why Goff is the GOAT QB. St. Brown also said that JMO's flip was OD. I agree. That's crazy. But what I thought was really OD was Gibbs casually going on a 43-yard touchdown run for his 3rd score of the game at the end of the 4th quarter. He's too good. And it blows my mind that John Morton called the game last week against the Vikings, which is a middle-of-the-road defense. Pretty good, but not top 10. Gibbs only had 28 yards of total offense. How does that happen? And the last thing about the offense, you always love to see your backups getting playtime halfway through the 4th quarter. Overall, the whole team played great as well. A weird stat from this game, there were so many crazy things. 3 total penalties against the Lions for a total of 1 yard. And defensively, so many great plays. Surprisingly, no turnovers. Amik Robertson played all right. Terrion Arnold continues to play very well. Played great against the Vikings. Played great against the Commanders. It was definitely a close on Sundays type of day for Terrion Arnold. Hopefully next week against the Eagles is the same. That's going to be a great game on Sunday Night Football. I have the Lions winning it. I think the offense is clicking, especially if they keep up this strong play calling. The defense has shown a lot of potential, but there are a lot of injuries throughout the roster. And lastly, the Jack Campbell 2-point attempt, absolute shutdown, was very electric. What an insane game. Bring on the Eagles. Fuck the Packers. Detroit's now in first place in the NFC North. And as always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. And thanks for watching.